Well, at first we need to understand why and for what is memory useful for. First of all, if we are talking in academic terms, um, memorizing stuff is useful, for instance, to remember formulas or to memorize important dates for, I don't know, a history class or dates when important discoveries were made. Many may argue that for formulas you must first understand them, but what has also been proven is that if you not only understand the formula but you also memorize it, when you are working with it, doing exercises of such, um, you will work more efficiently. Memory is also useful for your personal life or your everyday, because um, when you are going, for example, to buy some stuff to the grocery store, you will have to remember what you need to buy, and memorizing that stuff instead of just having it to instead of bringing it written down on a piece of paper, it is better and a good practice for you to remember it. Continue. We need to dive deep into what are the aspects that you need to develop in order to have a good memory. And as it has been proven by researchers, visual memory is very powerful when you want to memorize something. And how you may develop this visual memory is by a technique called the memory palace technique, which is picking a place that you know very well, a visual setting. It could be your house or your apartment, and place visual images of some topics you're trying to remember in places of that setting, so that you can remember it easier. To end off, we need to know some important details of memory, which are essential to understand how we must operate with it. First of all, we need to know that memory can fade away as time goes on, as it can also consolidate as time passes. So obviously what we need to do is try to consolidate it instead of having it fade away. Uh, some useful techniques for to do it is called retrieval practice, which can essentially be done by trying to retrieve that memory you're wanting to consolidate every day. And you may use some tools such as Anki, which lets you put a question for some topic and in the back side the answer. And Anki will has an algorithm that develops a spaced repetition for you to try to remember it and retrieve it every day. Well, another aspect of memory is that as it can be consolidated over time, it can also be modified. And what's useful of this, because on some topics, on some subjects such as math, for example, your knowledge is becomes to mount up as you develop your knowledge. Another important aspect of memory is that it can also be modified. What I mean by this is that if you have some wrong concept in your mind about some topic, you can then modify it, such as if you know some programming, like modifying a variable that it's in the memory. So it is useful for when you have some misconceptions about something, and probably, I don't know, a teacher or some mate of you corrects it for you. Well, that was all. I hope this was useful for you. Let me know if there are any videos you want me to make.